That could be a long.
Shalom, shalom. First thing and foremost, I want to give all the praise, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Rakah Kwadash. Double honors to the apostles, double honors to the elders of Great Millstone for teaching this truth according to the Bible. A sincere shalom to all the fellow laborers who push this truth and believe in this truth here in the last days in Babylon the Great, as we are called to do so. And please forgive me if I'm sniffling in the video and blowing my nose. It's because I'm a little under the weather right now. Something going on around work. People all over the place getting sick and calling in and whatnot. But I'm going to do this video on two shorts that I found on Facebook. So basically 2 plagues. All right. She's going to go into the biological warfare. All right. Also known as pestilence. All right. Disease in the Bible. And also the nuclear destruction, which is the ultimate finale. I really only took a couple seconds to bring up a couple of verses. So we're going to listen to it as it's playing. Then I'm going to go to another video where she talks more in depth about nuclear weapons. All right. And then we're going to hit those nuclear missile scriptures as we do all the time. OK, this is just another warning. All right. Because, we're coming to the end. All right. And really salvation is the Lord, Yahweh Shai, saving his elect from all of these things that are going to be happening on the earth. All right. And this is why we do this. We have hope. OK, Yahweh Shai has blessed us and have mercy on us to be able to retain and understand these prophecies. And so we're going to do everything in our power to push this word, man, because we're told to do so in the scriptures. So let me start with this one. This one's going to be on the biological. Well, you could see that in the title. It says how a biological outbreak could send America into anarchy in 6 days. And absolutely it could. And we're going to have something that's going to be even worse than what happened in 2020. Everybody remembers 2020 when the C-vid, right? As Elder Apostle Tahar calls it, the C-ragamuffin. All right. When that outbroke and people were locked up in their houses. All right. Couldn't go to work, couldn't go to school, couldn't really do anything. And people were losing their minds. And whatever's going to happen now, it's going to be a lot worse. So let's watch from the beginning here.
What would you rather go through? A nuclear war scenario or a biological pathogen that?
Okay, first.
Because that could be a long, slow, painful death. I mean, I guess so could nuclear war if you aren't in the blast zone. But
I mean, one of the biggest takeaways that readers came back at me with after reading Nuclear War Scenario was, I just want to die in the immediate blast. Because, it's like that Nikita Khrushchev quote, the survivors would envy the dead. In many ways, bio has that same component. Probably because of what you said, that you just think of having this like long, slow, painful death. But the reality I learned when researching and reporting this book is actually a little bit more frightening, which is that, so in nuclear war, I take readers from nuclear launch to nuclear winter in 72 minutes. 72 minutes, not days, minutes. That's how fast it could happen.
She just said 72 minutes. Okay. Let's actually look this scripture up because the scriptures talk about 1 hour. Okay. Actually, that's Revelation 18. Let's go 1 hour. Revelation chapter 18, verse 10. Standing afar off. Well, actually, let's read up a little bit because give you more clarity. Revelation 18 and verse 9. It says, "And the kings of the earth who have committed fornication and lived deliciously with her," and who's her? Babylon the Great. This chapter is talking about her destruction, right? The United States of America being destroyed, right? It says, "And the kings of the earth who have committed fornication and lived deliciously with her shall bewail her and lament for her when they shall see the smoke of her burning." So this is another cut to that whole Christian doctrine that the whole world is going to be destroyed. Okay. Why would these other nations be lamenting, right? The kings of the earth be lamenting if the whole world is going to be destroyed, watching Babylon the Great burn. Okay. This is just the result of World War III, and that's all. Okay. Verse 10 says, standing afar off for the fear of her torment, saying, alas, alas, that great city Babylon, which is America, that mighty city, for in 1 hour is thy judgment come. In 1 hour. And the merchants of the earth shall weep and mourn over her, for no man buyeth their merchandise anymore. Yeah, because America is the largest consuming nation in the world. All right. I believe they were. China might have surpassed them. I'd have to look that up. But America's always been known as the consumer nation, and this is where the markets are. Okay, if you have something to sell, you want to sell it in America. Okay, one, you'll get U.S. dollars, which was the world reserve currency, which was the strongest currency in the world at one point. It's not anymore, but at one point. And they're lamenting. Okay, the merchants of the earth shall weep and mourn, because they no longer have access to this market. Okay, America's just physically destroyed. Okay, so where are they going to sell their stuff anymore? Okay, and it talks about that in the scriptures, all the things that they sold. All right, 12 through, let's see, 12 through 17. Okay, that talks about all the things that are sold here in Babylon, which is really just commodities. Okay, different, things that you can sell on the market to make money and become rich. All right, that's why these merchants are so in distress. Okay,
That's how fast it could happen, according to Stratcom. In biological war, I take the readers from outbreak to anarchy in 6 days, because anarchy and insurrection is the real threat. And that was shocking to learn, again, from the Defense Department. And you're talking about
anarchy and insurrection is exactly what's going to happen. Okay, anarchy and insurrection. Right? For nation shall rise against, this is Matthew chapter 24 and verse 7. It says, for nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilences. Another way you could say pestilence is biological warfare or disease. Okay, they're going to spread these things like they did in 2020. That was on purpose. Okay, and the Lord is going to allow this devil to do something even more on a higher scale, kill more people. And it's coming out now that this shot, okay, that they try to make everybody get, okay, that they try to make everybody take in order to keep their jobs, turns out it's killing a bunch of people. Okay, and the elders told everybody, don't take that. All right, and there was Hebrew Israelite camps that were on the fence on that, or there was Hebrew Israelite camps that told their people, go ahead and take it. All right, so now those people are paying the price. All right, let me read this again. Matthew 24 and verse 7. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilences and earthquakes in diverse places. You hear about all these earthquakes going around the Pacific Rim. All right, there's been breaking news like for the last 2 weeks about many earthquakes, that are going around that whole Pacific Rim. Okay, it's also known as the Ring of Fire. All right. 2nd Ezra chapter 16 verse 14, it says, behold, plagues are sent and shall not return again until they come upon the earth. So once the Lord starts this thing, which he already has, okay, there's already been earthquakes. A brother did a couple videos on volcanoes that have been going off in Italy. Okay, these people are getting ready to get blasted off of that. It might have been Cyprus. No, it wasn't Cyprus. That's Greece. It was mainland Italy. There was a volcano. I forget the name of it. I think it was Etna or something like that. That is exploding right now. And these people are in big trouble, man. Okay. Isaiah chapter 42 and verse 9 says, behold, the former things are come to pass, and new things do I declare. Before they spring forth, I tell you of them. So before these things happen, like it says in Amos, all right, before the Heavenly Father does all this destruction upon the earth, what is he going to do? He's going to let his prophets know, and the prophet's job is to come and let the people know. All right, this is Amos chapter 3, verse 7. It says, surely the Lord Yahweh power will do nothing, but he revealeth his secret unto his servants the prophets. Slacky, y'all. I'm trying to make it through this video because I'm sick, man. Sick like a dog, but work got to get done. So, yeah, let's watch this other video that I had. That's the point I had on that
From the
one.
Defense Department.
Right here.
If a thermonuclear missile landed on us right now in Midtown Manhattan, what would happen?
A 1 megaton thermonuclear bomb hits with such a force. First, it's a blinding light. It's 180 million degrees worth of light. It's a pulse.
And by the way, that 180 million degrees, I've always said that it's going to be 200 million degrees. So that's pretty close. That's hotter than the surface of the sun. So essentially what happens when a nuclear bomb goes off is it creates a artificial miniaturized sun or star, okay, that is directly on the surface of the planet. And anything that is within that blast radius for that period of time, when it's at its highest, will immediately be incinerated, okay? And that's where you get, right? That's where you get Zechariah, all right? Zechariah 14 and 8, right? Slakia. Or is it 12? Yeah. Zechariah 14 and 12. It says, and this shall be the plague wherewith the Lord Yahweh will smite all the people that have fought against Jerusalem. Their flesh shall consume away while they stand upon their feet, and their eyes shall consume away while in their holes, and their tongue shall consume away in their mouth. We always talk about the Terminator movie, when she was staying on that fence, having that vision, okay, and a nuclear bomb went off and she was vaporized, essentially. That's what happens in a nuclear bomb if you're directly in the blast radius. All right, you will be vaporized, and that's what Zechariah 14 and 12 is about. All right.
Everything within miles is in a line of sight is set on fire.
Yep, that's a nuclear firestorm. And everything within miles. And think about how many nuclear bombs are going to go off. Go to Revelation, right? Chapter 9, right? Revelation chapter 9. In verse 16, it says, and the number of the army of the horsemen were 200,000, and I heard the number of them. That's 200 million, right? You see it in the NLT clearly. Those are the warheads, not the missiles, okay? Those are the warheads, because each missile can carry multiple warheads, okay? China talks about their missile that can carry 61 warheads at one time, okay? And the numbers of missiles that these countries have proclaimed to have is a lie. Do you honestly believe that these nations that are the enemies of the United States are going to tell the whole world exactly how many nuclear missiles they have? Absolutely not. And the United States is not going to tell the public and their enemies how many missiles they have. Okay, they have a lot more than what they claim. All right. So.
In a line of sight is set on fire. So you have 1 mile radius of fire. That's 19 football fields of fire. Think about how long that is. Imagine everything in the line of sight catching on fire. So you immediately have this mega fire. And people have seen the nuclear mushroom.
That's the lake of fire right there. Okay, Revelation 19. Okay. Revelation 19, man. In verse 20, it says, and the beast was taken, and with him the false prophet, that wrought miracles before him, with which he deceived them that received the mark of the beast, which is that chip, all right, and them that worshipped his image, These both were cast live into the lake of fire burning with brimstone. And that is anywhere on the planet, but it's really talking about America, okay, which is going to be set completely on fire with thermonuclear destruction. But anywhere a nuclear bomb goes off, that is considered the lake of fire, okay? A bomb will probably go off in London. We don't know exactly where in the world everything's going to get hit, but other places in the world will get hit, all right? It's just that America is the main focus, okay? So America is the lake of fire, okay, when these firestorms start happening from these missiles.
And people have seen the nuclear mushroom cloud in Hollywood movies, right? So the stem of the mushroom, that stem is a several 100-mile-an-hour vacuum, okay? I mean, a hurricane is 90 miles an hour. Right. Sucks everything up that has been turned into combusting carbon, basically. People, things, buildings. In a 9-mile radius, everything goes, and you have 30 feet of rubble.
Now, this is a 1 megaton. This is a 1 megaton warhead. One single warhead. And look at that map. 1 mile radius. Everything, look at what it says. It says everything instantly incinerated. And that's the word I like to use, okay, when I think about the nuclear missiles. Incinerated. Okay? Everything within a 1 mile radius is incinerated. Now imagine 200 million, okay, thermonuclear warheads. So essentially there will be no nuclear, there won't be time for people to get into their bunkers, and there won't be any survivors, because every square inch of the United States of America is going to be covered within that incineration radius. Okay? So all these people play, oh, well, what if I survive and I got to struggle? You don't worry about it. Don't worry. You will not survive. Okay? You will not survive if you're in the United States of America. Okay? You best believe that.
The nuclear mushroom cap, this 10, 20, 30 mile wide cap, is what's left of people. That's like debris of humans.
And where will the elect be? Right? The elect, Lord's will, we're part of that number. They're going to be watching from above. And this is really what salvation is about, man. Okay? It's Revelation. Is it? Yeah, Revelation 15 and verse 2. Okay, it says, and I saw, as it were, a sea of glass mingled with fire, and them that had gotten victory over the beast, the elect, the people that received salvation, right? The Israelites that received salvation. And over his image, and over his mark, and over the number of his name. Okay, that sea of glass mingled with fire is the firmament. Okay, once the chariots come and beam up the elect, they're going up to the top of the firmament, outside the firmament, and they're going to watch front row seats to the nuclear destruction of America. Okay, the so-called white man's power structure. Okay, the beast, the false prophet, like it says, okay, and Babylon the Great will be destroyed completely and totally. All right, as a result of World War III. It says, and I saw, as it were, a sea of glass, the firmament, mingled with fire, the nuclear bombs underneath the firmament, and them that had gotten victory over the beast, the elect, okay, and over his image and over his mark, which is the chip, and over the number of his name, standing in the sea of glass, having the harps of Yahweh, because we're going to be celebrating, singing songs, right? It says we're going to be singing the song of Moses, right? The previous chapter, that's what it said. Revelation 14 and 3. And they sung, as it were, a new song before the throne and before the four beasts and the elders. And no man could learn that song but the 144,000 which were redeemed from the earth. That's not what I wanted. But yeah, we are going to be singing songs, though. I believe it's in 16. Revelation 16. No, I thought I had it. I thought I had it right. Hold on, let me I believe it's 14. is it 15? It might be in the same chapter. Because we will be singing the song of Moses. Yep, verse 3, it says, and they sing the song of Moses and the servant of Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, and the song of the Lamb, saying, great and marvelous are thy works, Lord Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, power almighty. Just and true are thy ways, thou King of saints. And the saints we all know are the Israelites. Psalms 140, Psalms 147, Psalms 148, and Psalms 149. Really, Psalms 148 and 149. All right. Talk about the Israelites and how they are the saints. All right. So let's finish this.
It's up there. If anyone launches on the United States, they are going to get the mother lode in response. 1,760 nuclear weapons that we have on ready for launch status.
We would unload the whole clip.
The whole arsenal. Everybody has a launch on warning capacity, or at least we in Russia do. And so if you launch, we launch. And then we're all dead. Soot blotting out the sun's rays for 8, 9, 10 years. The result is that agriculture fails. You know, you have this incredible freezing world for a decade. And then agriculture fails and people starve to death. 72 minutes from nuclear launch to nuclear winter. And I describe it in great detail, like from Defense Department documents, by the way, like scientific facts about what happens, which should terrify.
Hey, we don't know how long we're going to be up on them chariots, though. Okay, we don't know how long that wedding ceremony is going to take. So we could be up there for what would be on Earth like 10 years. It doesn't, I mean, we don't know. Okay, but the thing is, at some point, we're going to come back down and we're going to establish the kingdom of heaven. Okay, we're going to come back down and take over the planet. That's Daniel's chapter 7, right? The saints of the Most High shall take the kingdom. All right, we're going to take this. We're going to take what belongs to us, man. All right. So I don't want to go too long with this because
What happens, which should terrify everyone,
is made.
that we actually know such horrors, but we do. We do.
yeah, you know the horrors and you're going to experience them. These heathen have got to be taken out of rulership. Esau Edom has to be taken out of rulership, and the heathen have to be put back in chains. Okay, if you're not an Israelite, you belong in servitude. Okay, and so this is what it's going to take. This is the extent that the Heavenly Father is going to go to in order to put his children back on top, starting with Yahushai. All right, so the point is made. Nuclear destruction is coming to America. All right. So with that, I'm going to give all praise, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakakwadash. Shalom.